All right, getting ready to head to Minnesota on Saturday here. 49ers play, of course, the Vikings on Sunday in week two. And so this transaction has to be made at 1 p.m., or it doesn't have to be made, but it more than likely would be made. Just the way Kyle Shanahan was talking on Friday about Christian McCaffrey, now that injured reserve is definitely an option. And it certainly seems that that's the way they're going to go with this. So, probably today at around 1 p.m. Pacific time, you can expect Christian McCaffrey to go on injured reserve. And what that means is, he can return after 4 weeks. And this isn't like baseball. It can't be retroactive. So the first day that he would have to miss, the first game he would have to miss would be Sunday. So it doesn't go back to week one. What that means is that he would be eligible to return to the team on for week 6, and that's a Thursday night game at Seattle. That's October 10th. The next game, week 7, is 10 days later. That's, of course, against the Kansas City Chiefs. So, in all likelihood, Christian McCaffrey will miss at least the first 5, maybe the first 6 games of the season if everything goes well with that Achilles tendonitis and the calf strain on his right leg. Same leg that hampered him late last season. He sat out. He injured it against Washington, sat out the week 18 game, but did play in the playoffs. So now where do the 49ers go from here? Obviously, it's the Jordan Mason show. And this is a guy that will probably top his career most carries in the game on Sunday. As a rookie, he had 42 carries. As a second year player last season, he had 40 carries. And through week 1 of the NFL regular season, he already has 28 carries. Of course, that big game he had against the Jets on Monday night, 28 carries, 147 yards, 1 touchdown. So he's only 111 yards shy of his career season best. That was his rookie season as well, 258 yards. So the 49ers, they're down basically what you would have considered their top 2 running backs. Elijah Mitchell out for the season with a hamstring situation that required season-ending surgery. He can't come back to the team. Christian McCaffrey, obviously the team wants him to come back. That's why they're putting him on IR now to try to get that thing to settle down. But it certainly is concerning to the team that after limited practice, the worst he felt was Thursday. And so they shut him down. And I got to say, watching him Thursday, he did run some routes, but he was always stretching that and always kind of fidgeting with his right leg, then his left leg. So 49ers just really want to make sure that this is something that they can get control of, and so that he can be healthy for the second part of the season, and certainly in the games that really matter down the stretch in December. And the 49ers obviously expect to go to the playoffs, so those games in December and January. So now the 49ers have a lot of unproven guys. I mean, Jordan Mason is proven now. I mean, he's been in the league for 3 years, but he's never had the workload, and he really hasn't had a workload as a running back since his sophomore season at Georgia Tech. His junior year, Jahmyr Gibbs came in. He was a highly recruited guy coming to Georgia Tech, and he became the starter. Jordan Mason became the backup. A scout, area scout, Warren Ball, gets a lot of credit inside the building for finding Jordan Mason, even though he wasn't a starter, bringing him to the attention of the coaching staff. 49ers signed him as an undrafted rookie back 2 years ago. So the other running back that might see some action and the 49ers will probably try to sprinkle in is Isaac Guerendo. Now, again, when training camp started, I thought that Isaac Guerendo would be one of these guys who makes the team, but it'd be very difficult for him to have a uniform on game day because he was going to be stuck behind, theoretically, McCaffrey, Mitchell, and Mason. But now Isaac Guerendo rises up the depth chart, and he's the number 2 running back. He only had 3 plays from scrimmage in the game Monday night, did not carry the ball. Look for him to get some action on Sunday. And Kyle Shanahan was asked about if he'd be comfortable giving him some action, and he said, yes, definitely. They were nervous about him at first because he didn't put on pads during training camp, so he didn't go through those practices. But that's why they played him so much in that final preseason game against the Raiders. So Shanahan said, I remember asking him in a team meeting after that game, when was the last time you put on pads? The answer was back at the Senior Bowl in January. So it had been a long time since Grindo had gotten out there and played. 49ers, of course, drafted him in the fourth round, pick number 129. So Shanahan said that he was behind on a lot of stuff, but that when he got into that game against the Raiders, he didn't look overwhelmed at all. In fact, he had that very long kickoff return. But he says that he didn't feel like the game was too big for Isaac Grindo. So look for Grindo to see some action on Sunday. Running the ball will be very important for the 49ers to try to kind of take the crowd out of it a little bit. They don't want to get in third and long passing situations because that's when that crowd can really be a factor and the Vikings pass rush can get off the ball and go after Brock Purdy. So it's going to be key, as always, for the 49ers to get that running game going. The number 3 running back on the 49ers roster is Patrick Taylor. He's been in the league for a while. And so if the 49ers do, so Taylor will suit up again as the number 3 running back. Will he get some action? Right now, he's primarily a special teams guy, but we'll see what they have in store for him. And then the other running back that is in the building is Keyshawn Vaughn. He's a fifth-year player from Vanderbilt. He played his first 4 seasons with Tampa Bay. He is on the practice squad. So if the 49ers make a corresponding roster move, assuming they put Christian McCaffrey on injured reserve, it'd be Keyshawn Vaughn coming up from the practice squad. Okay, so 49ers, some of the key matchups in this game, and I alluded to them on my 5 to watch video. Colton McKivitz going up. Kind of, everybody, nobody has to worry about Trent Williams anymore. Colton McKivitz on the other side, the right side, had a good game. Has to clean up the false start and the holding penalties, but he's going to have his hands full on the other side with the edge rushers of the Vikings. The 49ers are looking for Brandon Ayuk to become more of a factor and get more involved in the team's passing game. George Kittle, of course. It's going to take a lot of guys kind of picking up the slack with Christian McCaffrey out. And, where the area where it becomes more important or probably more noticeable with McCaffrey not out there, third downs. Such a threat catching passes out of the backfield. So, a team like the Minnesota Vikings can really key on on George Kittle. They can key on Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, because the 49ers don't have that top receiving threat coming out of the backfield on third downs. It's an area that Jordan Mason has really put a lot of emphasis on as far as the route running, the pass catching, and all of that. But there's only one Christian McCaffrey. 49ers still feel, and rightfully so, that they can win any game they line up with, even when McCaffrey is out of the lineup. Jordan Mason showed that on Monday night. So that's the quick rundown of what the 49ers can be expected to put out there on the field Sunday. Look for them to try to have the balanced passing attack. They might try throwing more on first down to try to catch the Vikings when they don't have their nickel defense out there or their top pass rushers out there. So look for them to kind of mix it up a little bit, maybe play it a little bit backward. Maybe they throw on run downs and run on passing downs. So that's what they'll try to do with Jordan Mason out there. And unlike a week ago, absolutely no surprises with Jordan Mason. The Minnesota Vikings know exactly what kind of running back he is. He's a big guy. He's fast. He hits the hole very good. He's very disciplined as a runner. And then when Grindo gets out there, talking about a big guy, a 220-pound back, who also clocked the fastest time among all running backs at the NFL Scouting Combine. So look for some combination of Mason and Grindo out there, with obviously Jordan Mason getting the lion's share of the carries. Okay, that's it. I'm off to Minnesota, and I'll check in with you guys later when I get there. In the meantime, have a great weekend and enjoy the game on Sunday.